Good afternoon, Ambassador. I'm just going to pick up on that September 9th conversation, which the President allegedly said, I want nothing, I don't want a quid pro quo. I presume that on this September 9th conversation, the President did not mention that that was the same day that we launched a congressional investigation into whether there was a quid pro quo. Did he say that to you?
Again, I know all of that today, but he did not. We didn't have a time to talk about things like that.
And I presume he also didn't mention the whistleblower complaint that also alleged that there was a quid pro quo that day.
He did not.
Okay. So you can't rule out the possibility that the reason why he started talking that way on that day is because of the congressional investigation.
I can't rule that out.
You know, the inauguration of President Zelensky was on May 20th, correct?
Correct.
As you stated, you attended this inauguration with Senator Johnson, Secretary Perry, Lieutenant Colonel Vindman, and others, right?
Correct.
But Vice President Pence was supposed to originally attend that, correct?
I believe so.
We learned from Jennifer Williams, a witness who testified, that it was at the President's direction on May 13th that the Vice President not attend. She said, quote, that according to the Vice President's Chief of Staff, the President determined that the Vice President would not go. Do you know why the Vice President did not attend the inauguration?
No clue.
I want to point to a New York Times article from last week that says that Lev Parnas' attorney, you've heard of this gentleman, Lev Parnas, an associate of Rudy Giuliani. Who's
only what I've read very recently.
He's recently indicted.
Yeah.
Mr. Parnas told a representative of the incoming government, the Zelensky government, that it had to announce an investigation into Trump's political rival, Joseph R. Biden, and his son, or else Vice President Mike Pence would not attend the swearing-in of the new president, and the United States would freeze aid. Did the Vice President not attend possibly because this investigation had not yet been initiated by the Zelensky government?
I have no idea.
You can't rule it out, right?
Again, I have no idea.
You have no basis for ruling it out, however, correct?
All I know is that the leader of the delegation was Secretary Perry, who invited me along.
Interestingly, Ambassador Sondland, since you came forward in these proceedings, others in the administration have tried to distance themselves from you. You know, on October 14th, Rudy Giuliani told the Washington Post that Sondland, quote, seemed to be in charge, close quote, of the effort to get Ukrainian officials to publish or to publicly announce investigations. Of course, that's false, correct?
If I had been in charge, I would have asked President Trump to have the meeting without preconditions, and the meeting would have occurred a long time ago.
That's exactly right. The President is the one that wanted these investigations, as we learned later on in reading the July 25th call transcript. Isn't that right?
The President, through Mr. Giuliani, is conveyed through Mr. Giuliani, wanted the investigations.
Mr. Tim Morrison came in yesterday, and in his deposition testimony, as well as yesterday, disparaged you too. He called you, quote unquote, the Gordon problem.
That's what my wife calls me. Maybe they're talking.
He,
Should I be worried?
Maybe. You know, on October 8th of this year, the President tweeted that you are a really good man and a great American. And of course, on November 8th, 1 month later, he said, let me just tell you, I hardly know the gentleman.
Easy come, easy go.
You know, what I'm concerned about, you were part of the Three Amigos. But what I'm really concerned about, Ambassador Sondland, is that the President and the good folks over here, my Republican colleagues, are now casting you as the one amigo, the one lonely amigo they're going to throw under the bus. But the truth is that, as you said in your opening statement, the suggestion that you were engaged in some rogue diplomacy or irregular channel of diplomacy is, quote unquote, absolutely false. Isn't that right?
That's correct.
The presumption that military aid was conditioned on investigations was based on Mulvaney's statement that we saw on the video. Isn't that right?
Well, I didn't have the benefit at that time of Mulvaney's statement.
But you would stand by the presumption that you had based on what you know now, right?
Correct.
And on September 1, when you told Andrei Yermak your presumption, which you've told us about military aid being conditioned on the investigations, you then told Mr. Morrison what you told Yermak, and Morrison did not try to dispute your presumption, correct?
I don't recall him disputing it. I think I went right over to him and just repeated the conversation.
And when you told Vice President Pence your concerns, he did not dispute that as well?
He didn't respond. He just listened.
And when you told Secretary Pompeo, that wasn't disputed as well?
I don't recall.